We're going to look at a few clips of UCLA's defense and a few clips of LSU quarterback Garrett Nussmeier and talk about the keys for Nuss to have success against UCLA's defense. And real quick, we're not at our normal spots, not our normal office, so the audio may not be great. So I do apologize. I've had people in the comments talk about the audio this past week. We'll be back next week, so just bear with me, right? So right off the bat, let's just go ahead and talk about UCLA's defense, then we'll get some throws from Nussmeier. UCLA's defense, they've had a really good outing against Hawaii, where they had 24 pressures, 10 sacks, and just put up some gnarly numbers. And against Indiana this past week, they got blown out and only had 8 pressures and no sacks, right? So what's the identity of this UCLA defense? I don't know. I'm not sure. Regardless, they're going to want to try to get pressure. The takeaways here that we're going to watch, they're going to show one thing pre-snap and something else post-snap. They want to get pressure, but also notice their DBs, which we're going to see here in the next clip. I apologize, the ref is talking. We're going to see in this next clip how off the line of scrimmage these DBs are. Notice the off coverage, not a lot of press going on. Now, there are times they show press against certain situations, but for the most part, they have off coverage, which we're going to see at the beginning of the game. Hawaii was able to take advantage of, and I think LSU can take a lot of advantage, or can have a good amount of success in those type of throws, the short to intermediate throws. So let me go ahead and move myself out of the way. So we're going to see, look how off the line of scrimmage they are. So line of scrimmage, the 38, 39. And so we're all at the 40, 41, right? So you're 5, 6, 7 yards off the line of scrimmage. So they're giving you this intermediate, short to intermediate type of throws. Their game plan, at least against Hawaii, was try to get pressure and prevent the big plays, which they're able to do. They kept everything in front. But if you're LSU's offense, I think you have opportunities for a lot of yak yards. We're going to get into the keys for Nussmeier here in a second, and that's one of them. But here's a good example here. Here's UCLA showing one thing pre-snap. So they show that they're going to bring 6 pre-snap, right? That's what you look. If you're a quarterback, you see, okay, end potential backers closing up. And then they show something else post-snap, where if we look at post-snap, they only bring 4. They drop this guy into coverage. They bring 4 here as they try to confuse the offensive line. Again, the offensive line for LSU is going to be much better than the offensive line for Hawaii. And then they try to get pressure but keep everything in front, which they did a good job against Hawaii, but LSU's defense is a little bit different. Still, good throw there, off coverage. If you're Nuss, that's those type of throws that you make. We'll watch one more, watch them getting pressure here again. Just showcasing a few clips here before we get into Nuss of what UCLA is going to try to do. I still think like they're trying to figure out their own identity, right? They had a success against Hawaii, not a lot of success against Indiana. All right, so this time you can see what they show. Oh, sorry, let's go back. You can see a D. They only have one defensive lineman with his hand down. Is that correct? Yeah, so just one D line with his hand down. And so we're going to see snap of the ball. Let's see it moving a little slow here. Snap of the ball. They bring 5. They drop this guy back. They bring these backers up, right? Again, trying to confuse you post-snap, and they end up getting this sack here. But even with that, the bigger takeaways I have, because I think LSU's O-line is going to be fine. I think they're going to be able to pick up the blitz. I think UCLA is going to try to blitz them or try to get pressure. But still, notice how deep the UCLA's corners are besides the boundary corner, right? Besides the boundary corner. But notice off coverage, safety off coverage. And we're going to see a few clips from Nuss against South Carolina where if UCLA throws these type of coverages at LSU, they should be able to pick them apart, right? So big takeaway from UCLA's defense. I don't think they're very good. I think they have 2 options to try to slow down LSU's offense. It's they sell out with pressure, but if they do that, they're going to leave some space for receivers to get open. But you sell it with pressure, or you only bring 3 or 4, and you just try to keep everything in front, try to have Nuss make a mistake, right? But from the first few games, it looks like they're going to want to try to get pressure, try to disguise some fronts pre to post snap, and keep everything in front, right? Okay, so that's UCLA's defense. We don't need to see this again. Let's go ahead and look at Nuss. All right, 3 type of throws, I think, for Nuss that he can have success. And before we look at this film, let's talk about the three kind of keys or like the common theme for Nuss to have success here. I don't think he needs to do anything different than what he's been doing. I think he's to continue doing the exact same thing that you've done the first 3 games. I think UCLA's defense fits in perfectly with what you've done well. Short to intermediate throws, take what the defense gives you, be decisive, right? That's the blueprint for success against UCLA's defense, who, like we've talked about, is up in the air. So this clip here, I think, is a perfect example of what you can have against UCLA's defense. I think your receivers are primed for a lot of yak yards here. Get the ball to them quickly. And this is exactly what happens here. So be decisive, get the ball to them on time. You see South Carolina has a much better defensive line than UCLA will have. They got pressure on Nuss, throughout the game, just bringing 4. Right, so here's the open receiver again. Remember how off coverage UCLA's defenders were. I think there's going to be space. Hit receivers in stride, and let them do the majority of the work. Look, your receivers, your running backs are superior athletes to what UCLA is going to have in the field. So let them do the work, get the ball out quickly to them. Right, so that's key number 1. Be decisive, ball out on time, let them do the majority of the work. Right, key number 2. I think the short. Like that play was a more short play, like that was under 10 yards, the ball thrown there. So I think the short to intermediate throws you can live in, and that's what Nuss has excelled in, these short to intermediate throws. This may be a little deep, this may be 20 plus yards in the air, but it still is kind of that intermediate range. This is a really good throw. This is like an NFL style throw. I don't know if you're gonna have these tough of throws against UCLA's defense, but we see Nuss stay in the pocket. We see him deliver the ball downfield. Let's go ahead and run it a little faster. And we see him able to layer the ball over while he's taking a hit, while he's getting pressure. So if UCLA does get pressure, right, and they definitely could. They're scheming for this game. If they do get pressure, Nuss has shown the ability to throw with pressure in his face. This is a hell of a throw. Again, this is an NFL style throw. You don't make this type of throw in college. It looks maybe easier from here, but these DBs are breaking a lot quicker, and getting the ball over this defender here is a lot tougher than it looks. Really nice throw. So again, short to intermediate. Key number 1, decisive, ball out quick, yak yards. Let your receivers, running backs do the majority of the work. Key number 2, the intermediate type throws that I think are going to be there with the openings that that UCLA's defense has shown in the first few games. We'll watch this angle here. Let me try to get me out of position. Sorry, I'm tired of seeing my face. It's nice having the all-22 footage, right? The beginning of the season is always tough, but then once we get more all-22 footage, it does a better job showcasing. All right, then number 3, the third key for Nuss, and I don't know how much you need to really show, so I don't know if they want to show much play action. Let me move over here. But if their run game continues to have success like it did against South Carolina, then I think you can throw some plays off play action. This kind of goes hand in hand with number 1 and 2. I want to see some play action, which I don't know if this is technically play action. It is an RPO, so it has the same effect. But getting the ball out quick and letting your receivers make these type of plays here. Let's go ahead and move. Key number 3, utilize play action. You haven't done it that much. I think 20-something% of his dropbacks, but Nuss is like 23 to 30 off play action, and the majority of his chunk yards have come off play action. So again, don't know how much you're going to want to show or what you want to try to hide, right? But I think play action can be there if the run game gets going, and this hammers home the point of getting the ball to your receivers, letting them take care of the rest. They can do this to South Carolina's DBs. They can definitely do that to UCLA's DBs. And the last thing I want to potentially see, and I don't think we have any clips of it, so let me just go back. We can watch a little bit. Last thing I want to see from Nuss is some vertical shots. Now, that's just more of a personal preference because I like the deep throw, but I don't know if you're going to need to take shots downfield to beat UCLA's defense. You certainly shouldn't if you're a 3+ touchdown favorite, which last time I checked, they were like a 21 to 24 point favorite, kind of maneuvering through that point spread. But Nuss has only had 7 completions where the ball is thrown more than 20 yards in the air. I don't think you need to have that against UCLA's defense. It's kind of a personal preference. I would definitely love to see that just because that's kind of my forte when watching quarterbacks, right? So again, this all goes to show how much do you want to show if you're LSU's defense. Does it matter at this point in the season? Like, are there certain things you just want to work on? Like, you're okay with the defense that you're going to be playing in the next few weeks? You're okay with them knowing what you're working on? I think probably so, right? So question is, how much do you want to show? And then the other question is, does it really matter? Do you have stuff you want to work on that you don't mind putting out on film? Again, LSU is heavy favorites here. They should dominate, but there's still some stuff to work on for LSU's defense or offense against UCLA's defense. All right, so LSU fans, SEC fans, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think Nuss needs to do against UCLA's defense? What are the keys going against UCLA's defense? You never want to take a team lightly. I probably took them too lightly when doing this breakdown. So, of course, anything can always happen. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below, what you want to see from Nuss, and then what type of throws you think could be beneficial and what I missed in general, right? So, again, like, share, subscribe, all that YouTube stuff. We just help the channel grow. And, again, if the audio isn't great, I do apologize. We'll be back to our normal spot next week. Thanks for following along. We'll see you next time. Peace.